Okay, now we're ready to actually start having them do some problems here. So we're going to take our first addition test where it says addition, fact test, adding by ones. And I'm going to show them, the first one says 2 plus 1. So I'm going to say, okay, we have 2, so I put 2 there. There's a 1, so I put 1 there. And now they want us to put them together and add them. So we move the 1 over there. And how many do we have? 1, 2, 3. So the answer to 2 plus 1 is 3. Now, have you seen something that would be really easy to understand when you're adding by ones? Hopefully they'll say, yes, it's just the next big number. And if they don't, then you'll explain it to them and show them. Say, look what we have here. We have 1 here and we have 2 here. When we put these 2 together, we're moving them over just to the next number. So if I was adding 1 plus 3, what's the next number after 3? 4. That's right. If I was adding 7 plus 1, what's the next number after 7? 8. Do that a few times until they grasp that. And you really don't want to use this test or have them ready to do the test until they're really able to see that when you add by 1, you're just saying the next number of the biggest of the 2 numbers. Once they have that down, you will now start doing a daily test. And this is timed. And what you want to do is tell them, okay, we're going to start seeing how fast you can go with these. And the first time you're probably going to have to do it with them. So you get your pencils out and you have them sit down next to you and you just have them go through this. 2 plus 1 is, what's the next after 2? 3. Write that down. 3 plus 1, what's the next number after 3? 4. If you're already going, if they're at this point and they still haven't learned how to write or they don't have the motor skills yet, you do the writing for them. Because right now we're not worried about the motor skills of writing. We're worried about how quickly they can grasp the adding by ones. And we don't want to slow them up by trying to get them to try to write out that number. So I would definitely do the writing for them until, now if they're at age 5 or 6 and you're doing this stage, they should be able to do that. But if you're at 3 and 4, you make sure you do the writing. They'll tell you the number and then you write it. Okay? And I would go through the first couple rows. Then I would say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do this whole sheet and we're going to time you and see how fast it takes you to get it. So you get a little timer out, you make a big deal about that, and you say, are you ready? And they're saying, yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to write it when you tell me what it is, okay? So are you ready? Okay, ready, go. You click your timer and say, 2 plus 1 is, they tell you, you write it down. 3 plus 1 is, they tell you, you write it down. You go through the whole sheet, hit your timer, see how long it took them to do it. If they make a mistake, you go right ahead and write down what they said. We'll address that after the test is over. And of course, you will know when they do make the mistake. So once they're done, say, okay, we're going to go back through and check these together. Now, this was what? And you go through. Or you can just say, I know we made a mistake. Look at this one right here. You told me it was 7, but look at it again. 8 plus 1, what's after 8? 9. That's okay, but we'll change that to 9, but you don't get credit for that. We're going to count up how many you got right. You count them up. You put down on the paper how many they got right. The next day, you'll do everything the same. Then you'll say, okay, let's do that test again. And let's see if you can get, let's see, yesterday you got 22 right. Let's see if we can get more than 22 right. And I'll make a bet with you. If you get more right, let's make Daddy have to do 10 push-ups. What do you think? Of course, they'll go off and all excited. But if you get less than 21, you're going to have to do something. What about you have to do 5 push-ups? How's that? Okay. Making it a competition is just another way to make them get excited about doing it. And you will not have to do the competition every day as you're going through this, because they'll get old with it and there'll be a point where they don't need it anyway as motivation. But as long as they want to do it, throw out those competitions before it, and that makes them really want to try to beat that extra time. There'll be days that they'll go down, but just the way the brain naturally develops, this is guaranteed that 3 out of 4 days they're going to improve it, because the brain's getting what it needs at the exact level that it understands. So, and actually we want them to fail every once in a while, just so they become used to realizing, hey, if I went down one day, it's okay. I'm going to try hard again the next day and I'll get it. So that way when they do reach failure, something that's a little tough for them down the road, we're already establishing the fact that I did it before, I know I can do it again. So I don't need to get all mad and get frustrated. So that's how you would go with additions. Once they're able to do them without really hesitating, you're ready to move to the next step. Again, this might be 1 week, might be 1 month. It doesn't matter. What matters is, as soon as they get it, we will know it, and then we can move on. We didn't waste any time continuing to do adding by 1 when they've already got it, but we did not move to the next step when they weren't ready. And that's the difference between being at a school and working with 20 kids and being able to work one-on-one. You can know when the fluency level's there and ready to move on. Okay, so that's how you add by 1.